dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with another installment of Drag Queen Approved, where I test makeup to see, well, if it's good enough for drag queen. Not all makeup is created equal. Some less pigmented, less colorful, cheaper. None of these are bad things, but if you're looking to perform on stage, whether as a drag queen or whatever, you need a little more oomph in your makeup. I mean, if you're a day walker going to your lovely 9-to-5 job, try not to ruffle feathers, most makeup is fine. Not for me. Now, in this episode of Drag Queen Approved, I am actually doing something a little different. I'm doing a collab with one of my YouTube girlfriends, Erica Conger, or as I call her, the Conger Line. She has a great little channel that I quite enjoy. She reviews new makeup. She uses old makeup, not old, but makeup in her collection, which I love. I hate this culture that we have right now where people are literally buying a makeup palette just to swatch on their hand and then you never see it again until they declutter it. And I'm not one of those people. One of the brands that came to my attention is because of Erica Conger, and it is Ladybug Glow. And Amanda, the owner, when she had her, not her last release, a couple of releases ago, the Creatura palette, she sent me one. I'm not a real makeup channel. There are better people out there doing better reviews of makeup. But as I say, I like to just find out if it's good enough for drag queen. And Amanda contacted me over Christmas and said that she had something new coming out that she wanted to send me. And I'm very flattered by that. I mean, I need to let you know, I'm not a big fan of PR. I'm not a big fan of people who do videos with PR, because how much of an honest opinion are you going to get when you haven't invested in the thing? But Ladybug Glow is a company that I do like. And one of the things that I did buy from them recently was they had a 9-brush set that was about $80. I think it was like 90 with shipping for me. And these brushes are all shapes that I use. And so when this came out, I was very thrilled. My only critique of this brush set is this is, I don't know what this is. This is just a standard, but a little shorter. They're just that little bit shorter than the brushes I use, which isn't a problem, and it's not a deal breaker. But I have this plastic cup that I like to put brushes in that I've used. I can still see the brush sticking out of the top. If I put these in, they disappear completely. Not a deal breaker, but it just means I have to find a shorter cup. This set is, I haven't used it yet. I got it before Christmas. Canada Post in Canada went on strike. I literally got these last week. And Amanda had said she wanted to send me her 2 new palettes, but they were being released in an ice cream box. So she sent me the ice cream box, which I've never done. I've seen a few people open ice cream boxes, and they looked to me before this excellent. And so in this box, there was a card. Do I have it here? No. There was a card that came with it. And you got your choice of one of the 2 Ladybug palettes. Amanda sent me both, which I'm, again, very grateful for. There was also this Halo Glow skin highlighter. I'm not sure. I'm not testing this stuff today, but this seems nice enough. It's got a nice shine to it, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of highlighter. I have to actually remind myself to use it, but that's it. There was also this Charmacy. This is an eyeshadow palette. It's an eyeshadow single. It was $25. Yeah, it's an interesting color. There's also this fantastic lip balm, which I have actually used. It smells gorge. I'm stuffed. I'm completely stuffed up. My sinuses suck. And then the final thing was a lippy from, this is called Sugar Daddy. It's not a bad color. It's very neutral. This is not a me color. So the star of the show are these 2 palettes, Just Desserts and Vampy Treat. This is Just Desserts. Very, very lovely. There's a lot of primary, like jewel tone, the red, this green, this swampy green. There's also this really muddy light green, kind of like an egg shell. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, right down the middle, shimmery colors. And they're really, really beautiful. And then this is the Vampy Treats, and you'll see what I mean. I expected the Vampy Treats one to be darker and more intense. Like, I find this one seems to be more pigmented and lots of color, and this one is just on camera. When I saw other people using this, I was like, oh, that's surprising. I thought it would be more interesting. In person, it's actually great. This green, it doesn't show up on camera. It's very, very like key lime green, and this blue, very indigo, gorgeous. These neutral colors, although I'm not a big neutral fan, these are great shades for my eyebrows, so I'm excited. And this black here, even though there's a black right there, this black has like a gold shimmer in it, and I love to set my eyeliner with a shimmery black. The thing I like about these two is I think that they make a great palette together. So what Erica and I are going to do is we're going to use both of the palettes as one look. I'm going to give you my opinion on them as a drag queen, but I'm also, while I'm doing all that, Erica and I have some questions to answer. So I think we'll just get right into it. So I already have my P. Louise primer base on. As you also can see, I've got my complexion down. I've also got a bit of a bake down. I have not experienced fallout from my other Ladybug Glow palette. I don't know how these will do, so I just like to put a little powder down under my eyes just in case, because every once in a while, you know, you don't want heartbreak to ruin your face. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to take this thick pencil brush from Ladybug Glow. None of them are numbered, but I'm not a big, I don't remember numbers and shapes of brushes. I just know what I like and what I don't. And I love a thick pencil brush. With Just Desserts, I'm going to go into Mood, which is this swampy green color, which I love. So question one is, when did I first become interested in makeup? And, oh, come with me, children, back to the dark ages. I fell in love with makeup in the 80s, 82, 83. When Culture Club hit the scene. Culture Club, then Annie Lennox. They both Boy George and Annie Lennox wore a lot of colorful makeup, and at the time there just wasn't a lot of people were just doing neutral looks, maybe a pop of color here or there, nothing extreme, but I remember the first time I saw like blue mascara, Boy George had it on his Color by Numbers album, and there was a picture of him and Annie Lennox for Newsweek or something, and with her red hair. And as Boy George kind of broke into the music scene, his makeup became more intense. If you look at pictures of Boy George before he was famous, his makeup was very out there. And I guess they had some conversations at the label saying, well, you can't dress like a girl. You're not a girl. And we have to sell albums or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't in the room. I don't know. But that was probably part of the reason why when Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Was that the album? Their first album. Boy George had very little makeup on at that time. That's when I started. It was the European pop music scene really got me going into makeup. I used to take blue mascara, and I'd do like a gray streak across my face with blue mascara, and I'd go to school. And no wonder I got beat up. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot for some of the day walkers to get used to. But I just loved it. And when I see guys now, whether they're young or old, wearing nail polish or any kind of makeup, it warms my heart, because that just reminds me when I was younger of wanting to wear it all the time, but it just was not as socially common. I'm not saying acceptable, just common. You didn't see it, so when you did, it stuck out. I'm just saying. I'm going to take this is a big fluffy brush from this Ladybug collection, and I'm going to go into Matcha from the Vampy Treats. Vampy Treat, this is this color right here, Matcha. It's very bright, lovely green. I just want to blend it in with this here. Not getting any fallout right now, and these colors are, even though they're both green, they're blending together really well. Question 2 is, how did I learn makeup application? Am I self-taught or did I learn from an outside source? I've always said YouTube is my drag mother. I've learned almost everything there is to know about makeup from YouTube, but I went to art school, and I putting makeup on was like painting. So I never had a problem. I have color theory and stuff like that in my background. So going and putting color on a three-dimensional surface wasn't much different. I wasn't good at it right away. I don't think anyone really is. There's things you need to learn about makeup, what it can and can't do. And also, I've sewn for drag queens a lot of my life. Before I was a drag queen, I was sewing outfits for drag queens. And I learned a lot of stuff just watching the drag queens that I would sew for getting ready. I remember the first time I saw a drag queen do the brown halo, like the contour across the forehead. I was like, what are you doing to your face? Because they'd spent all this time doing this great complexion, and then they started putting brown. I was like, I'd never seen it before. I'd seen the finished product, but I'd never noticed it because the wig goes on. And if you've done your forehead contour right, you shouldn't see it. But lurdy-dur. I'm just going to go back in with that first brush, back into Mood. I'm just going to darken the original green. It's so funny. This green that I'm putting on right now, the darker green, in the pan, it almost looks like a mud color, like it almost looks brown, or it's very muddy, but it's actually quite a blue-green on the eye, so I like that. I'm not hating that. I'll tell you what. I don't know what this brush... This brush is flatter and wide. Like, it's wide, but it's flat. So it looks like something you would apply concealer with, but it's got a bit of a fluff to it. So I'm actually going to use this to go into Just Desserts, into Tasty, which is the black, the flat black matte. And we're just going to build up this crease, just a snickerdoodle. Just a snickerdoodle. Oh yeah, this is nice. These are all blending really well. I'm not getting any fallout, actually. I love these people who put their complexion on last. I wish that I did it that way. Lots of drag queens do. It's just not how I learned, and it's hard. I have to actually do it a couple of times on my own just to see if I can do it. Okay, so now I'm going to start my eyebrows. I've got the blend here going, but I like to do my eyebrows, and I like to cut the underside of my eyebrows, and then at that time I cut my crease, so it's all happening at the same time. I'm going to use this lovely little angled brush from the Ladybug Glow collection, and I'm just going to start by going into Custard from the Vampy Treats. The Vampy Treat ones. This is Custard, sorry. This is Custard right here. I'm going to use Custard, wine, and a bit of Vampy, the brown, the two corners, and then this one up here to do my brows. And question number 3 is, what is my favorite part of the makeup application process? Well, it's eyebrows. I don't know why it is. I remember it was so hard for me to do eyebrows at first because they're just so... It's so hard to get them to look even. And something I learned early was to do my eyebrows when I'm doing my foundation and all of my cream products, like my contour and everything, before I set with powder, because if I do it with a cream product lightly, I can get them balanced in that, and then when I go to put them on with powder, like now, all I'm doing is really just filling them in, but all of the balancing and getting them to match more or less is already handled. But also, if I make a mistake doing it with the cream product, I just wipe it off. It's not set, it's easy. So that was the first thing for me. When I learned that, that was a huge game changer. Saves time in the long run. So yeah, so that's just the one color Custard. I have to say, it's a lot darker on than it looks in the pan. The pan, I'm actually very impressed. I felt this way with Couture as well, that there was more intensity with the shades when you were using them than when you were looking at them. And I don't have a problem with that. I would much rather have makeup that looks better on my face than in a palette, because that's where it's supposed to be, on my face. All right, so now I'm going to take the same angled brush and I'm going into Wine, which is the deeper tone. I like to use a couple of different shades with my eyebrows because I like to ombre them, but it also helps define them when you're using different colors. It just gives them more dimension. I used to be so fascinated with the eyebrows that Matthew Anderson put on RuPaul. He was her makeup artist for the first, was it 8 years of Drag Race? But Matthew used to not only create Ru's makeup and wigs, but he also took the photos. A lot of the photos that are in the workroom of RuPaul's Drag Race were taken by Matthew. But his makeup artistry, that's to me the high watermark. If I could be like any artist, I would want to be like Matthew Anderson. Now I'm just going into Vampy. This is the darkest one. And where I put the dark, I usually do it on the bottom of the eyebrow at near the back, just to give it some weight. I like to do this low. If I don't have a really dark brown, I'll use a black, but I like to try and keep the eyebrow colors as natural as possible, because not only, I think, does it look better. I'm not a huge fan, if you have pink hair, having pink eyebrows, I'm not a big fan of that, although I have seen it look great. But my problem is I don't use a lot of the neutrals in a palette. And I was noticing that I'd have these palettes and I'd hit pan on all the colors I was using, but then I had all these pristine pans of colors I wasn't using. And the Scottish part of my heart couldn't allow that. I'm wasting stuff. I'm not using it. So I started realizing, oh, I can use these neutral tones for contour and my eyebrows. There's this color in Just Desserts called Sweet. It's a little yellow, but I'm going to use this just over the custard in the corner, the beginning of the eyebrow, just to lighten it out a bit. There. It's all right. Yeah, they're not exactly twins, but it'll do. I'm just going to use my P. Louise to cut my eyebrow and my eyelid, and then we'll get right back to it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this smudger, this nice little healthy looking smudger brush from the Ladybug Glow collection, and I'm going to go into Vampy Treats, and I'm going to take Berry, which is this really beautiful, like, it's almost an indigo blue, and I'm just going to start on my lids. This is another really nice, intense color, but it's not falling out onto my face. I'm really impressed. It's also blending beautifully. Question 4 is, when do I feel more confident, with or without makeup on? Well, it's so funny. When I do Wilma stuff, like even the intro of this video without makeup on, I don't feel very comfortable or confident. I don't like to necessarily do Wilma stuff without makeup on, but then I'm not a big fan of wearing makeup if I'm not doing Wilma stuff. I do a lot. I used to do a lot of TV work and stuff, and you need to wear makeup for stuff like that. And one thing I was very lucky, makeup artists always said, "Oh, you've got great skin, you don't need a lot." And they would put maybe just something to balance my skin, or because I get a little high colored, like red, because I'm a ginge. This blue, what's it called? Berry? Oh, this is my kind of blue. It's so intense, it's almost black, but you can see a lot of the blue in it. I love that. I love this green. The blue on this is very, like, look how dark that is. So now, to combat that, I'm going to take this Ladybug Glow brush. It looks like a concealer brush, but it's flat. And I'm going to take these two shimmers here in Just Desserts. Revenge, which is a purpley blue, and Sparkle, which it's a multi-chrome. It's got a pink and a blue in it. I'm going to use that on the inner corner of the eye. And I'm going to use Revenge, this darker one, on the outside. I'm going to start this off by just using it on its own. Normally I put down like a glitter, something just to grip it, but I'm going to try this on its own. I never used to use shimmers, and now I'm all about them on my mobile lid. Okay, question number 5 is, what is the one piece of advice I would give somebody who's starting out in drag? There are a lot of advices, but the one thing I would say is practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice, practice, practice. Drag makeup is unique. It's not easy. There's a lot of you're erasing a lot of your face and reconstructing your bone structure in drag makeup, and it can become very complicated. Like, there is not one drag queen who did a good drag makeup their first try. Keep all your pictures. Keep your pictures, especially your first time in drag. Keep that picture so you can see how you improve. Because you do improve, but you don't notice your own improvement. All right, now I'm going into a smoke, which is that lighter blue duochrome shimmer. I'm going to go in here with this. I just want some light. Ooh, yeah. See how that's just that little bit brighter? I like this glitter formula. It's like a putty, but it's not wet. But these are just some of those shimmery colors on the back of my hand. They're so intense. Like, it's very impressive. There are two beautiful duochrome shimmers. In this one, it's called Nightfall, and it comes up very purple. It's a very, very purple color. I don't know if you can see that. Very blue, very purple. And then the other one in Vampy Treats, Just Desserts, is called Cone. And it, let me get this one here, comes up very pink, actually it's showing very green, pardon me. So where Nightfall has a real blue-purple quality to it, cone a golden green. So I'm going to use Nightfall. I've wiped off, I'm still using the same brush, but I've wiped off, I just use a paper towel. I just like to do that. And I'm going to go into Nightfall and do my inner corner with it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, I love that. I'm going to take, with my finger, just a bit of the cone from the Just Desserts, which is the one that looks a little green, and I'm just tapping it into my brow bone just to give it some highlight here. Question 6 is, what makeup brands are the best for drag application makeup, and which are the worst? Well, it really depends on what you want it for. Ironically, one of the worst is Trixie Mattel, in my opinion. I like Trixie. I like some of her makeup. Her eyeliner gel is exquisite, but her eyeshadows tend to be powdery, and I think her market is more, daywalkers than drag queens. One of the best for drag makeup has to be P. Louise. They just have a lot of very intense pigmented colors. My new brands that I'm really loving for drag makeup, Blend Bunny is excellent, and Beauty Moon Cosmetics is a small little indie brand from Britain, and they have so many intense palettes and colors, and they're very, very celebrative. The colors are bright. They remind me of festivals and things like that. So I really quite like Beauty Moon as well. The worst companies, anything cheap, like CoverGirl, some of NYX, especially eyeshadows, those things aren't pigmented and they can be very persnickety. One of the best brands to use for drag, I think, has to be Beauty Bay. They're 42 pan palettes. They have they're matte. They're 42 pan matte. It's all a huge big rainbow palette, all mattes, no weighting. There's a lot of companies out there. I could sit there and tell you CoverGirl sucks, but then they might have one palette that's excellent. So it's really about what you like to get out of your makeup and how you like your makeup to look. I'm just using my P. Louise eyeshadow base to do my waterline and my under eye, because that's the next thing. Question 7 is, do I think drag makeup is an art form? Absolutely. I think all makeup is an art form. Even if you're doing just simple looks for a wedding, it's still an art form. Because it's not easy. Anyone who knows, even if you've just tried to do a nice look for a party or something, it can be trial and tribulation, and it's never fun. Pardon me while I deal with my nose yet again. Oh. Okay, I still have to do my under eye, and I can't really do that till I've done my nose contour, so I'm going to finish my face. I've got 3 more questions to answer, and I will be right back in a minute. Don't miss me! And there we go. There's the finished look. I got my hair done. I got my jewelry on, and Ladybug Glow's 2 newest palettes, the Just Desserts and the Vampy Treat. And I'm just going to start off by saying I used a lot of these shades. I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of this one. And out of the Vampy Treats, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So quite a lot out of both of these. I'm just going to say I really liked how they blended. I didn't have any fallout on my face, which is saying a lot because I just used a palette. I won't say which one because I can't really remember which one it was. Fallout City. But these 2 were great. The pigmentation, spectacular. Even the lighter colors, I was very impressed with how intense the colors were. Also, very pleased with how everything blended, because sometimes you sacrifice blendability with pigment, and that's not the case with these. I know the question that is just burning in your minds right now is Ladybug Glow's Vampy Treat and Just Dessert drag queen approved? Yes, they are. Totally drag queen approved. I just was very impressed. And as I say, it's the uniqueness of the color stories, the fact that it was the Just Desserts that was the brighter colored one of the two. And to have these colors like this smoky purple and this smoky green and this Kelly green, but a deep, and that red, I can't wait to use that red. But I just thought that this color story was great, but I thought that the intensity of this would be more what Vampy Treat was going to be. Get this here. Because when I saw this one on camera, it looked very dull, and I was like, oh, I would have thought the Vampy one would have been the more intense one and not the Just Desserts one. But when you see this in person, it is quite intense. This blue, ridiculous. This wine, it actually is called wine, this color, stunning. I want to try this mist, this gray. And I didn't use any of the shimmers on this palette except for that Nightfall. But this black shimmer I used to set my eyeliner, very, 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 very impressed. I also, on my lips, used this fabulous, it's called Cake. This is my favorite shade in the Just Desserts palette because it just goes on like wet oranges. It's so, it looks a little green, but it's got an orange quality to it. And I use that as my lip highlighter. I like to use shimmer and topper shades for lipstick because as a drag queen, lip gloss sticks to my wigs. So there are still 3 questions that Erica gave me that I have to answer. And the first one is, what is the biggest misconception around drag makeup? Well, I don't know if there are any misconceptions around drag makeup anymore because people are so aware of it. I think people know a lot more about it. I also think that a big misconception around drag makeup is that it's hard to do. I don't think it's any harder to do than regular makeup, but everything has its method and its rules. And I have to tell you, something that looks difficult to me is bridal makeup. All of those subtle neutrals blending in to just create skin tones and bone structure. Like, oh, that to me is hard. This, no problem. Question 9 was, what technique, makeup technique, do I want to master or do I hope to master this year? I have never been good at a halo eye or a smoky eye. I think this is as close to a smoky eye as I've ever gotten. But I want to try that this year. I want to do some more dramatic makeup, some more specific makeup. I think for the most part, I usually just do a general look for my videos. But I want to do something a little more intense. Smoky eyes and halo eyes, they're coming. So brace yourselves is what I'm saying. My last question from Erica is, what makes makeup special to me? It's not the makeup. I think it's the community. I think it's the time that we're doing and playing with makeup now because Instagram, YouTube, whatever social media platform you dance on, there are so many people out there that are into whatever you're into. You're not usually alone. And the people that I have met online because of makeup, that to me is what makes makeup special. You can sit there in a room by yourself and paint your face as much as you want. If you're a burgeoning drag queen and you're learning everything on YouTube and you're sitting in your room alone putting on makeup, that's all fine. That's all well. But you learn more when you hang out with people. Especially if you're doing makeup. Like, I love it when I can get a bunch of people over and we just play with makeup with no agenda. We're not even going to film. We're just playing. And then you learn, oh, what are you doing? Oh, how did you do that? Or, you know, you see different techniques and different things being used. It also is a great way for people to ask questions and learn more and get better at what they're doing. So I think that's it. I think I would never have met Erica if it weren't for makeup on YouTube. And the same with a bunch of people, Chloe, Teresa. There's so many people that I'm close with on YouTube, and Jan and Steph. You know, I'm just thrilled because I really don't know that we would have met otherwise. I don't think our circles would have intercepted if it weren't for makeup. Because the nice thing is we're all different. We're all different. We all do our own thing. We all have our own interests. And I think that at the end of the day is what I find not just special, but valuable. Because, you know, makeup comes and goes. Trends hit you or they don't. But becoming close with people and making that connection, I think, especially over the interwebs. Who'd have thought? Like, I'm close with people I have never met. I don't know what they smell like. I don't know how tall they are. All I know is their channels and their profiles on the socials. And we've been able to carve out a fairly good friendship. It's the modern pen pal, if you will. So there you go. Just Desserts and Vampy Treat, Ladybug Glow. The final thing I want to talk about is the Ladybug Glow brushes that I got. There were 9 in the set. As I said, the only thing that was a little off-putting for me was that they're shorter than a regular makeup brush. But if you are familiar with P. Louise, they had a travel set of brushes, I think with their Worldy palette. They were smaller than this. They were shorter than this. This isn't bad. I didn't have any problems using these. I think I used all 9. Yep. I used all 9. Oh, I don't think I used that one. But they all worked really well. I didn't have any problems. I didn't feel like I was using a different brush or a new brush. I felt like I was, you know, able to do what I'm comfortable using. I don't know if Ladybug Glow is going to have these again. I know it was limited when they came out, but I remember there being some kind of a discussion of maybe they'll come back, maybe not. But what has happened on Ladybug Glow's website is they have a new set of brushes. There's 2, face and eyes. Some of the face brushes are natural. There's 1 or 2 that are natural. You can buy them separately, or you can get them in a bundle, and they look like they have longer handles. And great collection. That just came out. So if you want to check out their brushes, these ones aren't bad, but the other ones, the newer ones look a little better. So I would be interested in checking them out myself. But you can go to their website. I got a link down below. If you get them, let me know what you think about them, because as I said, they came out after I bought these. I'm going to put a link down below for ice cream, the ice cream subscription box. As I said, I've never had one of those before, and I wasn't upset with this one. Would I get it? No. The reason I wouldn't get a subscription box is because 9 times out of 10, the majority of what's in there isn't for me. And it's a waste. And I don't like having things in my collection that I'm not using. Like, I will give them away. I will declutter them faster than you can imagine. But as I say, the link is down below. And if you like this video, speaking of down below, there's the thumbs up button. Give my video a hit for that if you enjoyed it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And if you'd like to support the channel, best way to do that, leave a comment down below. Let me know, do you have any Ladybug Glow products? Have you bought any of their palettes before? What about their brushes? Did you get the limited edition set? Are you thinking about getting the new set they have on their website? Let me know down below, and we'll chat. We'll become makeup friends. Also down below, I've got a link to my Redbubble store where you can get some Wilma merch. I've got a link to my Patreon page where the Fingerdoo family meets twice a month for live chats. And I've got a link down below for my OG Tipperdoo link on PayPal. Or if you'd like to support the channel through YouTube, there's a thanks button down below where you can leave a Tipperdoo that way. There you go. Another drag queen approved, done and dusted. I want to thank Erica for coming up with the questions for me today. I want to thank Amanda for sending me these palettes. And I want to thank you for spending some time with me. Until next time, miss me. Mwah. Seriously, I look good. Ooh, she expensive.